Cappuccino with Father Capoverdi. Glad you could join us today on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry, I'm starting a little late today. I had a confessions, and then I began mass a little later with technical issues that I had to deal with. So, but here we are, though. We're all set. YouTube here, all set. I have my cappuccino. So great you can join me. È buona. È molto buona. Tammy, great to see you. Amanda, Pia, great to see you. And Grazia, how are you? Come stai? It's good to see you guys in church. So Dante and Valentina, great to see them. Paul, great to see you. Paul, we have to, you know that I'm always talking about the importance of these kids that are what they're learning in school. And, I wanted to talk to you today about Christopher Columbus. Hey, Riley, how you doing? You got a new archbishop there, huh? Next door to you. We'll have to talk about that. Riley is from Cape Girardeau diocese and Joppa, right? I think he's from. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about his new archbishop there, in his, near his diocese. Of course, your archbishop affects you, even though you're, in a different diocese, but they're so close. So Ruth Ann, good to see you. Long time no see. Ruth Ann is from my days at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Bristol. Very, very happy days. 6 years there, that's for sure. You're watching in your hospital room. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, okay. I hope you feel better. I'm good hip operator. Monsignor just got it. Monsignor Montecalvo got his hip operated on, and he's doing very well. I spoke to him. I video timed him, and he's doing extremely well. He really has been taken very well to the treatment. He looks really, really good. So I really think that he's going to make a good recovery. And Paul, I'll be praying for your recovery too. Natalie, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Kathy, great to see you. Kathy Kimmel, our coordinator of religious education. Tom, great to see you. Brutzetse. Yep. So Monsignor Montecalvo, like I said, is recovering very nicely. He's doing very well. Thanks be to God. So we're hoping he'll be back at some point soon in the parish. That's our aspiration. So we're, hoping for that. So we'll see what happens. So Dennis, great to see you. Glad you're watching. Yeah, Riley, we'll have to talk. So maybe sometime today we can video chat. Be looking forward to that. Christina, hello. Great to see you. Glad you're watching. And Lauren, great to see you. Yes, great to hear about Monsignor. You're right. Janet, great to see you. From Massachusetts. Oh, good. You'll be in my church. It is bishop is transferring. Yeah. Oh, you're from that diocese where your bishop was transferred to the Archdiocese of St. Louis. I have a strong connection with the Archdiocese of St. Louis. I have a priest friend who, Father Philip Benet, his name is, and he's not on Facebook or anything. He tries to keep a very low profile. But he is the pastor of the parish in St. Louis. He's the officialis of the diocese, meaning that he is the head of the marriage tribunal court, and a good friend of mine. So I get to St. Louis. I see Riley when I'm there. I get to St. Louis pretty frequently. I'm very familiar with that city. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And the people there are very, very faithful Catholics. From that archdiocese and from Cape Girardeau, they're really, really good, solid, traditional, conservative Catholics, many of them. So, we'll just pray for this Archbishop, that he, works out well and, gets to know his people who are very traditional and who are very good, solid Catholics. So that's something a pastor has to do, right? Is get to know his people. And I'm hoping that happens there. I'm sure it will. Peter, great to see you. Karen, great to see you from Florida, from Orlando, the beautiful city of Orlando, magical city of Orlando. Not just Disney World is magical, but that whole city of Orlando is magical. Beautiful architecture, beautiful churches. They have Mary, Mother of the World, of the Universe, I think it's called, Karen. And it's really beautiful there. I've been to Mass there, celebrated Mass there. So it's great. As a matter of fact, I have a funny story about that, about when this is before I met Karen, actually. I was with a family, actually, from Bristol, who are very good friends of mine when I was at Bristol. And they love Disney World. They're like big Disney World people. They go there all the time and they just love it there. It's their main vacation that they like to go to. So they invited me along. They said, Father, why don't you come along? And, because the kids were little, and, they were boys. And, I was very friendly with the family and with the boys and everything. So they were really into sports and into baseball. Unfortunately, the wrong team. They like the Red Sox, which is very sad. I couldn't convince even one of them to become a Yankee fan. One of them was kind of teetering on becoming a Yankee fan, and the family just kind of completely like put a immediate stop to it. So, I almost had one that would root for the Yankees. So anyway, we were in Disney World, and we were on that that tram, that mode of transportation, that takes you, it's like a railway that takes you from one park to the other and from your hotel. So it was taking us from our hotel to another part of the park or whatever. And it was pretty crowded, so there was this woman that was standing and I was sitting because it wasn't crowded when I got on it from our hotel. But, as we were going along, it started to get more and more crowded. So I, saw a woman that got on and she couldn't find a seat. And so I, said, excuse me, miss, I said, would you like to sit here? And I got up and she said, oh, thank you very much. I didn't have my collar on. I was on vacation. I was with this family. So I wasn't dressed like a priest. So I just asked her, would you like to sit down? And she was like, oh, thank you, sir, very much. And she sat down. So so that was, a few days later, it was Sunday. So this family, being such good Catholics as they are, they go to Mass when they're down in Orlando to Disney World. And they like to go to Our Lady of the Universe. Actually, they bought a brick in Our Lady of the Universe. There are all these bricks. Karen knows about this, like where people, have donated from all over. And this family has a few bricks there that they donated to that church. Just don't tell Father Zeno. Just kidding. That they gave their money to another cause there, but it is their church when they're in Disney World, so they could justify it. Besides, they're very generous to Father Zeno. So anyway, I jest. So anyway, so we're in Mass, and I celebrated. So I'm there with the priest. He was a nice guy. This was a while ago. He had gray hair. He was about my height. He was a short guy. Older, so it looked like he was ready to retire, which I think he did a few years after I had celebrated with him. I think he even had an Irish accent, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, he introduced me and he said, this is Father Capoverdi. He's from the Diocese of Providence. He lives in Bristol, and he's telling a little bit about me. So after Mass, there were a couple of people. He said, is anyone from Rhode Island? And a couple of people raised their hand. They were from Rhode Island. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know them, which is surprising because in Rhode Island, we kind of all know each other. It's such a small state. So anyway, after Mass, I'm greeting people, shaking their hands. And this woman comes up to me. She shakes my hand and she says, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Actually, no." She said, "I am the person whose seat that you gave up and let me sit in your seat." And I said, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Yeah, I didn't know you were a priest." I said, "Yeah, well, I guess so. Yep, I am." And she's like, "Oh, no wonder why. That was so nice of you to do that." And I said, "Oh, well, thank you." So I thought that was kind of interesting, wasn't it? That, that I ended up seeing that same woman, from that trans. I don't know what they call it, that train that goes from, Karen knows what it's called, that train that goes from one park to the other or one hotel to the other. So anyway, that was my little Disney World story about celebrating Mass at that beautiful church. Kim, thank you for posting. I'm going to make an announcement to all of you. Let me see if I can get Francesca here. Francesca, come here. Nope, I couldn't catch her. Sorry about that. I couldn't catch her. She was right here. So Kim, thank you very much for your posting the procession. We are going to have the procession this year of the Blessed Sacrament from our church to St. Pius. This was a tradition that took place every year. It began before I got here, where we, after the 11 o'clock Mass, take the monstrance, and Francesca's eating, so maybe after she eats, I'll be able to snag her. I'll let her eat first, though. She's so finicky that I don't want to disturb her. Right, I could pick her up right now and she wouldn't bother me. She wouldn't, but she's so finicky the way she eats that I'm an Italian. I have to see people eat. So every time Francesca eats, I'm like happy. Like my grandmother used to be. Every time, if my grandmother, God rest her soul, she, boy, did she want to see people eat. That was her main. Matter of fact, when I was little, she used to call me E. I used to call her E. I didn't call her grandma or nonna. Let me see if I can get Francesca. Francesca, come here. Come here. Come here, honey. Come here. Come here. Oh, she won't let me get her. My grandmother, she used to say "eat" to me so much that when I could first talk, I called her E, because she was mangia, figlio mio, mangia. She just loved it. She would make all this food and like put it in front of me and just sit there and watch me eat it. È buona, figlio mio, è buona. Mangia, figlio mio. That was her whole life, to be behind the stove and to cook and to feed her family. So anyway, speaking of feeding, we're talking about the Eucharist, so that's a great thing to talk about. That every year we take the monstrance and we take it from the route of Grove Avenue, going down Grove Avenue from High Street, really, to Grove. High Street is kind of really strange here in Westerly. I don't know who designed the street names, but High Street is like wild. Like it took me like 10 years to figure out, because my church, the parish where I'm at as pastor, is on High Street. But the natural thing, as the street continues, it forks, and it takes a pretty drastic fork, and High Street forks to the right very drastically. You would think that Grove would be High Street, but it's not. So you're on High Street, right near my church, and right after my church, as you go down the hill, you're on Grove, even though it's the same street. And High Street is the street that deviates and takes a hard right, like a really hard right. It's a fork, but it's a pretty like strong fork to the right. And that becomes High Street all the way down to the bottom of the hill. And then if you take a left, that's High Street again. So High Street is like, it's like this, and then it's like this, and then it's like this. It kind of, it kind of zigzags and makes like a big Z, So it took me years to figure that out. But anyway, I figured it out that we're on High. We go down Grove, right near the World War II memorial for our very brave men and women who died for the sake of freedom, and we salute them and thank them for their service as we pass by. We don't do it formally, but I always say a prayer. And then I hand the Blessed Sacrament over to the pastor of the neighboring parish, and he brings it up Elm Street and then brings it to his church, and we have benediction there. So we weren't sure if we were going to do it this year, but we were really fortunate that the police and that I think the riots kind of made people realize, look, Catholics should be treated the same way, as these rioters, and looters and, people who are, causing such civil unrest, that Catholics have rights too, that we should be able to process the Blessed Sacrament. Of course, we're going to take all the precautions we need to legally that they want us to. But we're going to do it. So Kim has it on her post, and Kim, I got to put that on my Facebook page as well. Thank you for posting that. And anybody who's in the area, join us for this very beautiful procession. It's going to start at around noon on Sunday. And as I said, I take the Blessed Sacrament and have a procession with the neighboring parish. And then the pastor of the neighboring parish takes the Blessed Sacrament the rest of the route, about halfway in between our two parishes. We're only a half mile apart, our two parishes. So he takes it the rest of the way. So it really is only really like a half mile, walk. But it's really good. It's really beautiful. We do that. And it was a tradition that started before I was here, before the pastor of the neighboring parish was here. So it really is a beautiful tradition. Yes, Grazia, I know. It was very nice to be in church again. It was nice to see you. It was nice to see your beautiful family. Grazia was married in Sarancella. I mentioned that before. Beautiful little church, San Giorgio. I've been there many times, celebrated many times. There's a little bar right near there. Italians call it a cafe, a bar. A little bar right there where they have spritz. I love spritz. It's such a refreshing drink. It's like Campari. I mean, it's like Aperol and wine and sparkling water with orange twist. It's just a really great drink. Spritz, it's called. And the Italians love it. And they have great spritz in that bar. It's amazing how good they make it there. Because I've had spritz all over Italy. And that little bar in Sarancella, that bartender really makes it really, really good. Usually the priest who celebrates Mass with me will grab me by the arm. He's smoking a cigarette after Mass. He's in front of the church, smoking a cigarette after Mass, puts it out, with his foot. Vai. Giacomo, Don Giacomo. Venica. Grabs me by the arm, brings me over to the bar. Siediti. Un momento. He has to order everything. So he's a great guy, great priest, really nice guy. Like I said, imagine if you saw me after Mass, smoking a cigarette as I'm greeting people. People would be like what is going on? It'd be funny actually, but I don't know if I'd actually do it. So anyway, it's funny to see different cultures, how we're different. Arthur, great to see you. Teresa, pray for Archbishop, in the Washington Archdiocese. Yeah, I'm going to avoid that one right now. So, don't get me started. All right. So Joseph Chelico, great to see you. Francis, Our Lady Queen of the Universe. Our Lady Queen of the Universe. Yes, that's what it's called. It's a beautiful church. Beautiful grounds there. I like to go when I'm in Orlando. I like to go there. Although Karen sometimes will, point out a different church to me that maybe she's going to, and I'll maybe go to Mass with her. She's very, 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 very active in her church and in her faith. She's adoration all the time, and she loves the Blessed Mother. So she's a great. Tammy, no, yeah, I don't. I know I'm a Yankee fan. Actually, yes, I've been a Yankee fan. My whole life. So sorry, I'm a Yankee fan. Red Sox family over here. Okay, all right, that's fine. I can appreciate that. I just wish we had baseball so we could actually be fighting. I can't believe Red Sox and Yankee fans aren't fighting. That's one way to get us not to fight, not have baseball. It's too bad too. Yankees we're going to have a great team this year. Oh man, we were going to have a great team. It's just really, really like gut wrenching, like a stab in the heart, that we don't have baseball. I'm watching Andy Griffith reruns, which I love Andy Griffith. It's one of my favorite shows of the 60s, but I'd rather watch the Yankees, and I'd rather go to Yankee Stadium. I have a very good friend who's the press manager there. He sits in the, press box. Really, really good friend of mine. And I like to see him when I go to Yankee games, and, I'll spend a little time with him before the ball game. He's very busy, of course, but he takes a minute or two to say hello to me. The organist, I know the organist at Yankee Stadium. He's a great guy. His name is Paul. He's the organist in his parish. So he's a very devout Catholic, and he, plays the organ at his church and at Yankee Stadium. So he's a great guy, and I usually see him when I'm there. So I hope you will pray for us. My twins are watching with me. Absolutely. Remember you have twins. Your twins are watching. My twins. Oh, you're a twin. You have twins. Are they a boy and a girl, or are they two girls and two boys? I would think if I were dad, I would feel like I hit the jackpot if I had twins. If I had twins, especially if they were a boy and a girl, I would feel like I had hit the jackpot. If the doctor said, you're going to have twins, I would be, it's like two for the price of one. It's tremendous. I would love to be the dad of twins. It runs in my family too. My mother's sister had twins. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if it runs in the male, like if it would have to be my dad's side. My dad's side has no twins. Isn't that incredible that and my dad's side, right? We don't have any twins, no twins. But my mother's side, we have twins. So I don't know what that would mean. If that would mean that we, if I would have them, or if I don't really know that, but I would love to have twins. I would just think it would be or triplets would be even better. Like it would just be like, wow, like 3 for the price of 1, 2 for the price of 1. They grow up together, they get to know each other, beautifully, and they have a beautiful friendship and relationship. Here's Francesca again. Let's see if I can get Francesca. Come here. You're a little stinker. She's a little stinker. She won't let me get her. I'm glad they're watching with you. How old are your twins? Let's see if I can find this information out here if I scroll. Billy, great to see you watching. Billy, we got to get together. I think our favorite cigar lounge is going to be open in Providence very soon. So it's let's see. I think it's going to open this week. The Ale House in Providence. We love to go there. And sometimes it's just serendipitous. I happen to see them there, and we'll smoke together. But we got a plan to get there. They're opening, so man, I got to get there. It's one of my most favorite places just to relax. Is at this cigar lounge. The furnishings there are very, very masculine and classic. Leather chairs and woodworking, wood raised paneling, and very like subdued colors, a real like guy's environment, dark wood and leather, like really things that, it's very masculine. It's just a very beautiful place to just hang out with guys and to smoke a cigar. You see people walk in, politicians walk in, and or people, that businessmen, will be there. So it's a really nice place, and I really enjoy being there. And I've missed it. I've really missed it because it's like a real, relaxing place for me to be. Tammy, we just adopted a cat who is very finicky here too. Yeah, what's the cat's name? That's great. Ave, great to see you watching. Ave Maria. Salvatore Capalbo, Robert, great to see you. Denise, hi Denise. Hope you saw our evening prayer, our Vespers with Philip. He has a very beautiful voice too. I'm not surprised, considering who his mom is, but it's great that was passed down to him. Singing is very important, as you know, as a priest. Some of us kind of do try our best, and we're just okay. But Philip has a very good voice. I never knew that about him, actually. And such a wonderful priest. My mother really loves him being there at St. Philip's, and when he met her, she called me, what a wonderful young man he is, and I'm like, yeah, I know, Mom. He's tremendous. Oh my goodness, he was so friendly to me, and just so she was just singing his praises. But of course, because he's such a great priest and a great kid. Angelo Luzzi is watching. Angelo Luzzi has a whole pre-K in his house. He's just like his house is like a pre-K. So it's a tremendous thing. When he comes to Mass, he certainly lets his presence be known at Mass with all his children. It's great. It's great. I look at that and I say, if I weren't a priest, that's the kind of dad I would want to be, like Angelo Luzzi. Just a big family, a beautiful wife. Just a great, great spirit about them. They love coming to Mass, and they love their faith, and it's just beautiful to see. Lori Lopez, Tigra, I think Tigra, is that how you pronounce your name? Hi, great to see you. Glad you're watching. Let's see. Sorry if Emmanuel. Sorry if Carlucci, Monsignor Montecalvo is watching. Monsignor, people have been asking about how you're doing, and I've been telling them that you're doing very, very well. That you looked really good, actually, when we FaceTime. So I was really happy to see that. I could just see the pain, that you were suffering in your face when we were talking. It bothered me so much, to see you like that. So you just seem so relieved, So it's great. I can't wait to have you back here, actually, because I've been, as you know, going crazy here. So I really hope that you're get back here soon. I know that hip operations, people recover very quickly. So I hope that happens with you. I'm sure you'll be following the instructions of the person who is your physical therapist. You have to follow them and listen to them and do the exercises that you have to do. It's very important. So glad you're watching, and when you come back, of course, hope you're not camera shy. We'll be streaming Masses. Actually, I just got a microphone like Father Zeno has. It just came in the mail. A parishioner donated, actually, a very wonderful parishioner. She's like a sister to me, this woman, and she donated it. So I'll have our tech guy kind of figure out how to use it. It takes him less than 15 minutes to do anything. This tech guy we have in the parish. He has a PhD in electrical engineering, and he's a professor. So he's like really super, on top of all of our technical stuff. And people like attribute that to me. Like they say, "Oh, Father, wow. Okay, come here, Francesca. Come here. Let me see you. All right, I got her. All right. Since you finally let me pick her up. All right, hello. Say hello, Francesca. Say hello to everyone. Don't be shy. Come here. Look at the camera. Say hello to everyone. Huh? You gonna say hello? Huh? You gonna say hello to everyone? Yes. Yeah, Francesca. She's a rag doll, in case you're wondering. I got her in New York, so she's a Yankee fan. You know Francesca is a Yankee fan? Did I tell you that? She's a Giants fan too. New York Giants. Isn't that a coincidence that Francesca is a Giants fan and a Yankee fan? Wow. I mean, go figure how that happened. No, but she is from New York. I got her in Long Island, a breeder, a ragdoll breeder in Long Island, and she comes from there. Hey, Francesca, look. And we took the ferry. Actually, my sister and my mother and I took the ferry to Long Island to Orient Point. Now, is Orient Point offensive to people? Should it be called Asian Point? This is where we've come. So anyway, I took her to Orient Point, and we took the ferry there from New London, and then we drove, and it was a long drive. Actually, it was a good hour and a half drive. So it was pretty far up, like almost near the city. We almost could have driven through the city because it was so close to the city. It was maybe like an hour away from the city, but it was, nice to be on the ferry, and, it was a nice day out. And, so then we took her home. I held her. She was a little kitten. I should maybe post that picture. Maybe her birthday's coming up. Her birthday is July 4th. So maybe on her birthday, I'll post her picture. She was a little kitten. And I held her in my arms, just like cradling her the whole way on the ferry. She didn't move. She just was staring at me the whole time. She didn't move on the whole ferry ride. And then I was driving. So my sister held her the rest of the way. And she just stayed, didn't try to get out of our arms, didn't try to squirm away in a cage. Because I didn't want to put her in a cage on the ferry. And I was thinking, let's just see how she does in our arms. And we passed her off just to kind of give ourselves a little break. And it was ever arms, my mother and my sister's arms, she just stayed there. Just stayed there. It was incredible. She is an incredible cat. Very friendly. She loves seeing people at the rectory come in. Carla is watching. Carla knows that how much she loves people. She's always, she wants to play. Hey, you want to play? See, she loves these rolled up papers. So I throw the paper, and she fetches it and brings it back. She puts it at my feet because she wants me to throw it again. So she plays fetch. Most people don't realize that some cats, look, she has it in her mouth. See, she has it in her mouth. Let's see if I can get her with it in her mouth. See, she has it in her mouth. Then she drops it. See how she dropped it? Now she wants me to throw it again. All right, Francesca. Sorry about that. All right. Look, here it is. Go get it. Go get it. See, she'll bring it back to me. She fetches. She's unbelievable. When she gets tired of it, obviously that's it. Sometimes I'll find it in my bed. I'll be in bed. I'll have the covers over me, and I'm like, what the heck? It's a toy. She wants me. She puts it on the bed. She wants me to throw it. Look, here she comes with it back in her mouth. I don't know if you could see her. See, she has it in her mouth. She drops it there. Now she wants me to go get it there, but I'm not going to get up and get it right now. Sometimes she'll drop it like she did a little bit of a distance away, and she'll want, me to grab it and throw it. But obviously right now I'm a little busy to do that. As I was saying, I just wanted to say hello to, Carla knows how much Francesca loves to be around people. And, we miss Carla in the rectory. Certainly. She does such a great job as our secretary. I can't wait to have her back. Stephen, great to see you. Hope everything is going well. Esmeralda, great to see you from Bristol. my great friend there. Great fan too with Rhonda. Yeah, yeah, Giant fan too with Ron. Oh, Steven, you're a Giants fan. I'm glad to hear that. Wow, you have very good taste in football. Glad to hear that. Well, hopefully we have a football season. We'll see. I mean, hopefully it won't be hijacked, by radicals who want to do all kinds of crazy things. We need to pledge allegiance to the flag. We need to put our hand over our chest very proudly. I've been wearing these American flag cufflinks, but I think what I'm going to do, I've been wearing them every day since all of this, looting and rioting and civil disturbance and destruction of property has been taking place. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start wearing an American flag and an Italian flag. I have Italian. I'm going to put one on each cufflink, and I'm going to wear that every day. I was wearing the American flag, but now that Italian Americans are under attack, I want to wear the Italian flag. And I say that we are under attack. I mentioned this in my homily that I'm highly offended as an Italian American what they're doing to the statues, defaming the statues of Christopher Columbus. But you know what? If I say I'm highly offended, people yawn. Doesn't matter. If Italian Americans are highly offended, okay, sorry, you're offended. Too bad. We're still going to do what we want. But if other people are offended in this country, my goodness, the whole society has to change and literally bow down to them. They should, no one should bow down to anybody. And this whole situation, this whole situation of like bowing down and kneeling in front of people, I've never thought I would see that in my entire life. We only should take a knee. We only should genuflect at the Blessed Sacrament, at the presence of our blessed Lord. That's the only person we should kneel to or bow down to or genuflect on one knee to. To see Pelosi and these disgusting people with her, bowing like that. Well, she bows to the Planned Parenthood. She bows to pro-abortionists who kill babies. Her sacrament of her religion is abortion. So I'm not surprised that she wouldn't mind bowing like that for what she's doing. But it's disgraceful. It really is. We need to bow and take a knee at the Blessed Sacrament, at our blessed Lord at Mass. We should bow to no man. We should kneel in front of no man. Many martyrs have died because they refused to bow down to a person or to other people or to a false god. So it's really, really disgusting and sad to watch. And like I said, I'm really just highly offended at this disparaging of this disgraceful behavior, besmirching Christopher Columbus. He was a great explorer. He was a great Italian. He is being besmirched in history because of false allegations against him. We don't have anything. We don't have any documents from him, original documents. They're all documents that were translated. So any of his writings, like his logs from his ship, or any of his memoirs that he wrote, we don't have any of the originals. Isn't that incredible? We don't have any of the originals. We only have reproduced copies of the original. And who knows what could have been written in those and even still with the reproductive copies, there really is no evidence to besmirch him the way that he has been besmirched. It's a revisionist history. highly regarded professors of history will say, well, okay, we're not going to canonize him as a Catholic Church. He wasn't a great governor of the island of Hispaniola. He made some tactical mistakes as governor. He really wasn't meant to govern. He was an explorer. He sailed the seas. He knew the wind currents. He knew the stars. He was a great navigator. He wasn't a great governor. So he could be, criticized for his governing skills. But this whole situation and plus, Catholics throughout the world were the first ones to end slavery. Slavery didn't happen in Italy. It didn't happen in Europe. At the time it was happening here in America, it wasn't the Catholics that were enslaving people. At the time they were enslaving people in America, it wasn't the Italians that were doing it in Italy. That's for sure. So to take an icon of ours that certainly was no saint, but certainly should never be considered in the category as a vicious, murderous killer, to take him and make him that, especially a people, of Italians, we're just a very hospitable people. We don't harm people, Italians. We're hospitable. We have great restaurants. When someone comes into our home, we welcome them. We set food in front of them, food that for generations we've been known for, the best quality of foods in the world. Francesca wants me to throw her. Where is it, Francesca? So to take our symbol of Christopher Columbus and desecrate it the way they are is disgusting and shameful. And I don't know, anybody who would consider voting for people who support these people and who support lawlessness and defunding police, anyone who votes for them, I can't understand it. We'll be like the Wild West. Defunding police departments will be like the Wild West. We'll have to all have our own firearms. We'll have to walk around with them in our belts, like they did in the Wild West. We'll have to take up shooting practice, because I don't know what we're going to do as a society if we have lawlessness, and we will have lawlessness if we defund police departments. Like I said in my homily, it was very unchristian, totally unchristian, the way that this police officer acted against George Floyd. But the response has been unchristian. So, that's the problem. We live in a post-Christian society. And when we live in a post-Christian society, all havoc is going to break loose like we're seeing now. A police officer isn't going to behave like a Christian and do what he did. The response isn't going to be Christian, and they're going to be doing what they're doing. Like I said, looting and destroying property, and even gathering, even saying, okay, we don't care about public safety. 10,000 of us are going to gather on the State House, and because we just don't care about public safety. Now, that's careless. That's really being harmful to other people. Because it's unchristian to behave that way, to have 10,000 people gather in one place. Now, considering our situation, if everything the scientists are telling us is true. So, it's just a sad state. But the answer to that is prayer. The answer to that is practice your faith with great fervor. If you're a Catholic that's been on the fence, if you're a Catholic that's out there and you're like, well, I don't know if I go to Mass. And I think a lot of Catholics don't go to Mass out of laziness. That's really what I think. I don't think they have an axe to grind with the Catholic Church, or they're mad about this, or they're mad about that. I just think they just have stopped going, and it's kind of like slothfulness. Like, I don't know if I feel like going. Well, let's get off our duff here and get to Mass, because the only way we're going to solve our problems is through Christ and Christianity. Like Christopher Columbus brought Christ and Christianity and Catholicism to this hemisphere, to this Western hemisphere, we have to be like Columbus. And I would ask that you support your Knights of Columbus. Knights of Columbus are tremendous men who live in this country. They do tremendous work for the sake of Christ. They help people who are poor. They have charities. They have a great insurance company. They do such great work, the Knights of Columbus, and they're named after Christopher Columbus. The founder was an Irish priest but I think he immigrated to Connecticut, or maybe I don't know if he was a first generation or if he immigrated from Connecticut, but from Ireland to Connecticut. But it was founded in Connecticut. I think so. It was founded in Connecticut, and it's a tremendous organization. And all the more now, men who are Christian, who are Catholic, who take their faith seriously, call up your local Knights of Columbus and say, I want to join this group. I want to join a group that's named after Christopher Columbus, who set sail, discovered America, brought Christianity and Western culture, beautiful Western culture. Western culture is we have so much. Think about the freedoms we have. Think about the medicine and the school systems and the tremendous things we have in the world, where America is the envy of the world, and even Europe is the envy of their area. Whatever, all the goodness that comes, all the technology and all the great things that Western civilization has contributed to the world, which is, the list is a mile long. It was Catholicism that influenced the Western world, of course. The Western world and Catholicism are one and the same. So Columbus brought this to this new world, Catholicism, and the conversion of souls to Christ, because that really is what matters, is the conversion of souls to Christ. So I'm really urging men out there to please join the Knights of Columbus. Find out who your local leaders are and join them. Put on the uniform of Columbus and do these great deeds and works that the Knights of Columbus do. I'm really urging you to do that. It's a very worthy cause, and they're great men. They're going to be processing with the Blessed Sacrament on Grove and Elm with us. The Knights are always there to help, and I really want to. I'm a Knight. I really want to promote that organization to you. And please, like I said, if you're kind of like a discouraged Catholic, or you're kind of like, not too sure why you ever stopped going, start going to Mass, because we need it. The Catholic Church is the last defense of to preserve our culture and our way of life in this country. We're the last defense. Without Catholicism and Christianity, this country, look at what's happening. We need Christ. Christians would never protest the way these people are, destroying property and causing havoc on poor business owners who are just trying to make a living. Christians don't behave that way. We're peaceful. We're loving. We're kind. We don't cause riots. So I would say, that's why we need to truly practice our faith. And that's why we need to receive the Blessed Sacrament. That's why we need to have our children understand the importance of receiving the Blessed Sacrament. This is important work that we're involved in. And our society needs us all the more than, okay. So our society needs us all the more. Alicia, great to see you. Stemmen. My mother's aunt, my memory's telling me my mother's aunt had 3 sets of twins. You're right. You're right, Anne-Marie, because they were older than us, and I really didn't realize that. But isn't that interesting? You're right. Twins on my mother's side really ran the gamut there. You're right. Because they were older, I guess, than us, and I had forgotten about that. But later on, let's talk about that, because I don't know if I remember all 3 sets, who they were. But I know I remember. That does sound right to me. Who knows? If I had become a dad, a husband and a father, who knows? Maybe it would have maybe the Chorreto side of the family. I don't know if it's the Chorreto side or the Giswoldi side of my mother's family that had the twins. We'll have to, I don't know how those work. Oh yeah, Paul. Yeah, Paul. I'm glad you do have twins. I can imagine. Paul, you must have felt like you hit the jackpot. I mean, I feel like I won the lottery if I had twins. I'd be like, woohoo, especially if they were a boy and a girl. Oh my goodness, that would just be tremendous. Just became a grandma to identical twins. Isn't that wonderful? My father-in-law is a twin. That's right. He is. That's right. A boy and a girl. He's a twin of a boy and a girl. That's right. That's right. And you were hopeful. Well, you still had 4, Carlos. That was good. But it's weird, isn't it? Maybe it skips a generation or something. I don't know. But none of your children are having twins. So that's really interesting, isn't it? There certainly is. Hi, Rebecca Lupinacci. There certainly is a way of let's see, someone is telling me here, Christina, I'm a twin. It doesn't skip generations on the mother's side, but skips a generation on the father's side. Okay. Well, then I'm out of luck because I don't, and Anne-Marie maybe can help me with this, and other cousins. I'm surprised my other cousins aren't watching today. But on my father's side, I just don't know if there are any twins that I can remember, even on the Capoverdi side that spell their last name with an E, because we have relatives who are cousins who spell their last name with an E on the end of it. And we spell our last name with an I. And actually the E is how it was in Italy, Capoverdi. So they kept the original spelling when they came over, and they came over as brothers, as young brothers. So it's amazing that one of them, Luigi Capoverdi, when he went up to the immigration office, they were together. My parents, my great grandparents, Pasquale and Maria Giovanna, both brought the family over. The 5 of them, 3 girls and 2 boys. And Luigi went in one line, and Antonio went in the other line. My grandfather. And Antonio came out with an I on the end of his name, and Luigi came out keeping the E on the end of his name. So really our name in Italian is Capoverdi, not Capoverdi, but we spell it with an I. Very common among Italians who came from Europe. You're a twin. Okay. Yeah, see, it skips on the fathers. I didn't know you were a twin. 12-year-old. That must be something, having 12-year-old twins. Wow, that's great. I can't believe how big they got. Michael Thomas is watching. Hi. Massimo, come stai? I'm glad you're watching. Massimo is my very dear friend in Acre. Tell Bob Bruno I said hello. He usually watches. David is watching. Mitchell. Boy, I'm getting a lot of calls. Maybe because I don't know. I should wrap things up now because I think I have an appointment at 10:30. I got to look at my schedule. So yeah, Francesca, isn't it? I bet you miss her, Carla. Although Carla is allergic to her, she takes a little pill or something to take care of it. But she loves her though. Francesca rocks. Okay, so we're gonna Miri, great to see you. Let's see. Grazia, beautiful flags. Like I said, I'm gonna get an Italian flag for my other cufflink. I'm gonna run upstairs now after this and make sure I do that. So anyway, God bless. And Lauren, great to see you. I just read an article about taking the Columbus statue in New London, Connecticut, is being vandalized. Yeah, very sad. I think we should organize, and maybe because, we have the internet, where we can do this thing. I think maybe we should organize a group of Italian Americans and friends of Italian Americans. You don't have to be an Italian American to join the group, but I think we should have a group that is organized that supports Christopher Columbus and supports Italian American culture in the United States, think of the incredible contributions of of Italians in the world. The art, the music, the food, the culture. You go to Italy and you just like how the architecture, the opera, the contributions to society of the Italian Americans. And I don't want to be prideful in saying this, but I think it needs to be said. You could sound a little prideful if you're not careful. But under these circumstances, I think we need, Gina's watching. Gina's an Italian American. I think we need to look at these contributions and think about the contributions of Italian Americans in the United States. We came here, we didn't know the language, we had very little money in our pockets. We really, there's a beautiful saying about Italian Americans. An Italian came here from Italy, and he said, when I left Italy, I couldn't wait to get to America because they told me that the streets were paved with gold. When I got here, not only did I find out that the streets weren't paved with gold, but they weren't paved at all, and they wanted me to pave them. And that's what we did. We came here with nothing. We paved streets. We worked on the railroads. My grandfather from Italy, from Calabria, worked on the railroads. We all, worked very hard. A lot of, most Italian Americans came here. We worked very hard. And the big thing was that we wanted to educate our children. And that was our main goal was that we knew education was so important. So it wasn't the first, the Italians that came here that wanted to prosper and make it. They wanted to save their money, buy real estate, pay cash for it. Oftentimes, Italians, I know Italians from Italy in Cranston. And, I went to their house to bless it. And she said, Father, my husband didn't believe in a mortgage. So we rented until we could pay this for cash. I'm thinking $120,000 at the time when they bought it many years ago. It's a beautiful house in Garden City in Cranston. Could you imagine that guy, her husband shows up with cash to buy, $120,000 in cash? That's how the Italians were, and they really, came here with nothing, and maybe they didn't prosper as much the first generation, and some of them did very well. But they wanted their children to prosper. They sent their children to school. They sent their children to college. They became doctors. They became lawyers. They became engineers, and they really became priests. They really contributed so much. Italian Americans contributed so much to this country, and to see our symbol, Christopher Columbus, besmirched the way he is. Maybe I should start, an Italian American group, in the United States and be the head of it, and garner members, and we'll try and make a difference here. And not that we believe in social injustices. We want to see them eradicated. We're not supporting anything that harms anyone, or we want justice for anybody who violates the law and performs terrible acts against another human being. There's no Italian that would ever, that I know of, condone any bad behavior by anybody. So we want to, though, make our voices be heard to say, look, Christopher Columbus is an important symbol to us. He's a man who is besmirched, and his memory is besmirched inaccurately. That there's not a just cause for his for his being considered a villain of history. He was a great explorer and a great navigator, and discovered America, the place we live in, the place we love, the land of the free and the home of the brave. So to besmirch him is a shame. And maybe I'll do that. Why don't I, see if you want to join me in this cause to, I'll be the leader of it, of Italian Americans for Christopher Columbus. I don't know what we can call it. And, we can have a membership. We can, sign a document saying that we're, so to our elected leaders, how disgraceful it is. Rhode Island is one of the highest percentages of Italian Americans who live in our state. And again, look at the contributions. You go on Apples Avenue and you can get one of the best meals anywhere in the United States. And I go to Italy, as you know, all the time. And certainly there are things there that we can't reproduce. We cannot reproduce mozzarella di bufala. That is really impossible. If you guys want to taste something that's like tremendously out of this world, it's mozzarella di bufalo in the Campania region of Italy, not too far where my brother-in-law grew up, in a town called Santa Maria Castellabate. There's an area where this was invented, mozzarella di bufala, and it's the best in the world. But we can't reproduce that here. It's impossible for us to reproduce that here. People tell me they do, and you got to taste this mozzarella di bufala. It's just like Italy. I taste it. It's good, and it's for America. It's fine. I guess it's all we have. But there's nothing like putting a fork and a knife into that mozzarella di bufala from Campania and tasting it, and the milk just flows from the center of it. And then you put it. You do. Scarpetta with the bread, you sop up the bread with the milky, watery remains of the cheese. It's the best. It's the best. And we can't recreate that here, but we do. We have. When I go to Italy, I taste the food there. Ours in Rhode Island is not as good, but it's the absolute next best thing. You can feel like you're going to Italy when you go to our restaurants on Federal Hill. Or even here in Westerly. We have great Italian restaurants here that you can go to and get that taste of Italy. So I really think we should start this. I really think so. That Italian Americans, who support, who, if you love our culture and if you love our contributions to the United States, and if you love the fact that it was discovered by an Italian American. This country where we live, this land where we live, was discovered by an Italian American. The capital is named after Christopher Columbus, then of the United States. Then we need to band together like anyone else. We're not going to protest and break and violate the rules about gathering because of the Corona crisis. We're not going to loot and burn buildings down and destroy property. That's not what we're going to do as Italian Americans. We're going to pray, and we're going to ask the Blessed Virgin Mary. Christopher Columbus named his ship the Santa Maria after the Blessed Virgin Mary. So we're Catholic as Italian Americans. We pray. We go turn to the Blessed Virgin Mary. That's what we do as Italian Americans. So like Christopher Columbus had a strong devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. So we're going to do that. That's going to be our way of opposition to what's happening, is not to conjugate and not to congregate in big groups of people, but we're going to do it in through prayer and through petitioning and peaceful means. So it's like my brother-in-law when he came here from Italy, from Santa Maria Castellabate near Salerno in the Campania region. The day after he arrived, he was still seasick from the boat. The day after he arrived to America, he was 16, 17. He went to the junkyard. He looked for parts that he could find, and he built a bike in the junkyard. And he built the bike so he could ride around the town to find a job. That exemplifies Italian Americans from Italy. That exemplifies their resolve to want to contribute and want to work and want to make a living and earn a living as an immigrant. The day after he arrives from Italy, still seasick, he goes to the junkyard. He builds a bike using his skills. I think as Italians, we have very good skills. We know how to make things. He made a bike, and he drove that bike all around town in Providence so he could find a job. So let's really then continue to pray, ask our Blessed Virgin Mary for help. Let's see if there's enthusiasm for the idea of having a group, an organization of Italian Americans. Then let's see how that works. So let us pray in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good and gracious God, we thank you for the benefits that we receive that come from your bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. And may the blessings of Almighty God descend upon you and remain with you forever, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless everyone. Great to have you with us for Cappuccino with Father Capoverdi. Sorry I couldn't get to all of your comments and say hello to everybody who has been watching. But my Aunt Mary, for example, I'm glad you're watching, and we'll see you, Kathy Kimmel. See you tonight. See you soon. We'll see you tonight. We're having a catechism class tonight. God bless. God bless. God bless everyone.